Hello. Throughout recent years, data has shown that the Earth's average temperature has been steadily increasing due to climate change. As good citizens, I'm sure we've all played our part in order to solve this problem. Several countries around the world have pushed to make renewable energies as the main source of energy. However, some countries such as France and Slovakia have used a different form of alternative energy, nuclear energy. There are several reasons why nuclear energy is being used instead of fossil fuels. As a person who has traveled around the world, I can tell you that nuclear energy is being used more than fossil fuels. This is because nuclear energy is less deadly, more land efficient, and makes more energy per unit weight than fossil fuels. So let's talk about something that concerns us all, safety. Nuclear energy is safer than fossil fuels. While it is easy to remember the tragedies that were Chernobyl and Fukushima, these tragedies pale in comparison to the amount of people that die each year due to fossil fuels. According to Harvard University, an estimated 8 million people die each year due to fossil fuels. To put that in perspective, 1 in 5 people who died last year were due to fossil fuels. Now, you might say that since fossil fuels make more energy, it is only natural to say that more people die due to fossil fuels. However, when comparing the death rates per unit of electricity, as World in Data did, it shows that nuclear energy beats fossil fuels by a factor of 818. Seeing this, governments have started building more nuclear power plants in order to reduce the amount of deaths caused by fossil fuels. However, deaths are not the only thing nuclear energy reduces. Nuclear energy uses less land than fossil fuels. Every energy source requires land in order to produce electricity. And since not every energy source is created equally, some energy sources use more land than others. According to the World Economic Forum, fossil fuels uses the most amount of land per megawatt produced, while nuclear energy uses the least amount of land per megawatt produced. This is due to the fact that large areas are needed to extract, refine, and store the oil needed for fossil fuels. Nuclear energy, on the other hand, uses pellets of uranium that can be stored in a warehouse whenever necessary. Since nuclear energy provides the same amount of energy with less land, smaller countries with limited territories have preferred nuclear energy. The most reliant countries on Earth that use nuclear energy come from the European continent. This is because European countries are heavily urbanized, meaning that they have less space for other activities such as utilities like energy production. This allows for the same level of energy production while having enough space to allow cities to expand. So not only is nuclear energy land efficient, but it is also energy efficient. Nuclear energy makes more energy per unit weight. Nuclear power plants use uranium instead of coal and oil like fossil fuels. This uranium is then refined into smaller pellets. Each pellet weighs about 6 grams, but each pellet creates as much energy as about a ton of coal or 120 gallons of oil. This means that 1 pound of nuclear fuel creates about a million times more energy than a pound of fossil fuel. In addition, uranium is one of the most abundant elements on Earth. Uranium is the 48th most abundant element on Earth, making it 40 times more abundant than silver. Uranium is also semi-renewable, meaning that the same pellet of uranium can be used several times to produce electricity. This makes it easier to transport fuel to nuclear power plants instead of having to transport tons of coal and oil to fossil fuel power plants. So after reviewing all the previous reasons, it's clear to see why some countries have chosen nuclear energy as their main source of energy. Given the fact that nuclear energy is less lethal, has a higher land efficiency, and makes more energy per unit weight, it has been chosen as an alternate energy source for several countries. So now that nuclear energy is being used more and more, less and less carbon will be emitted into the Earth's atmosphere, meaning that the Earth will eventually go back to a more natural temperature. I hope that you have learned something from this speech. You never know when nuclear energy may come to a neighborhood near you.
Hello.